It's a Monday morning in Manhattan, New York. Wall Street analyst Mark is clutching a crumpled performance report. He just got chewed out by his CEO in her office. When he steps out of the skyscraper, his anger is like a smoldering fire in a jar, ready to ignite at any second. He passes a corner coffee shop and snaps at the barista. "Where's my Americano? You guys are slow as molasses." The barista, Lila, freezes for a second, and a few drops of coffee spill from the cup in her hand. After work, Lila walks through her front door and finds her son Tom slouched on the couch playing video games, his homework untouched on the table. All the frustration she's bottled up all day blows up. "That's all you do, play games. You're gonna end up going nowhere if you keep this up." Tom's lower lip trembles. He glances at the orange cat curled up at his feet and kicks it. The cat yells in fright, darts out the door, and knocks over their neighbor's potted plant. The old lady storms over, yelling and waving her cane. This domino effect of negative emotions is exactly what psychologists call the kick the cat effect. The kick the cat effect isn't literally about kicking cats. It describes a classic chain of emotional transfer. When someone faces frustration or negative feelings, they subconsciously take out their anger on weaker or lower-ranking individuals. That person then passes it along to someone even more vulnerable, creating a cycle of harm. At its core, this is a natural psychological defense mechanism called displacement. When you can't lash out at the source of your frustration, like Mark couldn't argue back at his CEO, you find a substitute target to release pressure. The key here is picking someone weaker because it's low cost, no one fights back. Psychologically, two theories explain why this happens. First, the frustration-aggression theory, proposed by American psychologist John Dollard in 1939. It says frustration and aggressive behavior are linked. When people's goals are blocked, like Mark missing his sales target or Lila being yelled at, they feel frustrated. If that frustration can't be released healthily, it turns into aggressive impulses. But picking a fight with someone more powerful, like an employee arguing with their boss or a student talking back to a teacher, is risky. So people play it safe by picking weaker targets. That's the logic behind the emotional transfer in the kick the cat effect. The second key theory is emotional contagion. American psychologist Elaine Hatfield from the University of Hawaii found that emotions are highly contagious. They spread through words, facial expressions, and body language like a virus. And negative emotions spread 3 times faster than positive ones. This is thanks to mirror neurons in our brains. When we see someone angry or annoyed, these neurons make us unconsciously mimic their feelings, so we absorb their negative mood without realizing it. Take Lila, for example. After Mark yelled at her, she knew his anger wasn't her fault, but her mirror neurons still made her irritable. Then she passed that irritation to her son Tom through her tone and face, and Tom ended up taking it out on the defenseless cat. You see the kick the cat effect everywhere in American and European life, especially in high-pressure environments. The Silicon Valley tech scene is a total hotspot. Take Ben, the CEO of a startup. After he failed to secure funding, he snarled at his product manager Sarah in a leadership meeting. "This stuff you're making is total crap. The company's gonna go under if this keeps up." Sarah didn't dare argue. When she got back to her team, she pulled designer Tom into her office and blew up at his unfinished interface. "What even is this? Are you even trying?" Tom turned white. When he got home, his wife Lena was cooking dinner. He snapped, "This food's way too salty." Lena was already worn out from taking care of their 2 kids. After being unfairly criticized, she yelled at their oldest son Jake, who was building with blocks. "Quit making so much noise. You're driving me crazy." Jake jumped, and his blocks fell. He picked one up and threw it at their dog, who yelped. The noise woke their neighbor, the old man next door. That chain from CEO to dog is the kick the cat effect in action. Schools are no different. Amy, a teacher at a Los Angeles public high school, had her class size jump from 25 to 40 kids because of school district budget cuts. She graded papers until midnight every night and had to deal with constant inspections. One day, she caught student Jake reading a comic in class. All her built-up stress exploded. She yelled at him in front of the whole class, "You're a total lost cause. If you don't pay attention in class, you'll end up picking trash for a living." Jake's pride was crushed. After school, he stopped a younger kid, Ben, who was half a head shorter, at the school gate. He snatched Ben's allowance and shoved him around. Ben cried all the way home. When he saw his hamster scurrying around its cage, he pinched its paw. The hamster squeaked. Ben's mom found out, comforted the hamster, and yelled at Ben. But Ben's mom already had a tough day. She had to visit her sick mom at the hospital. She was so annoyed that she snapped at the nurse there. That's how negative emotions bounce from person to person, hurting even the most innocent. At home, the kick the cat effect often ties to power dynamics. David, a London doctor, had ER patient numbers spike. He worked 14-hour days for a week straight and was worn out physically and mentally. One night, he got home and found his wife Lucy hadn't made dinner. He lost it. "All you do is stay home with the kids. Can't you even cook a decent meal?" Lucy was a stay-at-home mom. She took care of their 2 little kids and did all the housework. She was already on edge. After being yelled at, she turned to their daughter Emma, who was painting. "Stop getting paint everywhere. Can you ever be quiet?" Emma burst into tears and threw her little sister's doll on the floor. The little girl started crying. David heard the noise and got even more annoyed. He complained to Lucy again. The whole family got stuck in a cycle of yelling at each other. And it all started with David's work stress. Looking at these stories, the kick the cat effect isn't just about passing emotions. It shows power inequality in relationships. In Western societies, equality is a big value, but workplace hierarchies, financial dependence at home, and teacher-student power gaps still let people pass anger down the chain. When powerful people get angry, they pick targets who can't fight back because there's no consequence. Employees don't argue with bosses, students don't stand up to teachers, kids don't talk back to parents, and pets can't say a thing. This cost-free way to lash out makes the kick the cat effect a hidden form of emotional abuse in high-pressure societies. But we can break this chain. For individuals, the key is emotional awareness. Mindful meditation, created by American psychologist Jon Kabat-Zinn, is a great tool for managing emotions. It helps you notice your feelings better, so when you're upset, you can hit pause instead of lashing out. For example, after Mark got chewed out by his CEO, he could have found a quiet spot, taken a few deep breaths, and thought, "I'm angry, but it's not the barista's fault." That would have stopped him from taking it out on Lila. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, also helps. When Sarah got yelled at by Ben, she could have thought, "He's mad because we lost funding, not because I'm bad at my job." That would have helped her avoid snapping at Tom. Companies and communities need to step in too. Google offers a program called Search Inside Yourself for its employees. It includes mindfulness training and emotional management classes. Data shows employees who joined had a 30% drop in emotional outbursts and less emotional passing in teams. Microsoft has emotional intelligence training to teach managers to notice their own moods so they don't take work stress out on their teams. In communities, Brooklyn's Emotional First Aid Workshop teaches people to use I statements to talk about feelings. Instead of saying, "You're so annoying," you say, "I'm tired right now, I need some quiet." That cuts down on fights caused by blaming language. All these methods break the kick the cat chain in different ways. The kick the cat effect is like an invisible thread. It ties people of all roles and classes into a chain of negative emotions. It's a reminder, we can all be both the ones passing anger and the ones getting hurt. Breaking the chain doesn't take big actions. It just takes a second to pause and notice your feelings. Like when Lila got yelled at by Mark, she could have thought, "He's just having a bad day," instead of yelling at Tom. Or when Amy wanted to scold Jake, she could have calmed down first instead of hurting his feelings. When more people hit pause in the emotional chain, negative feelings stop spreading. And in that pause, we can pass along warmth, understanding, and compassion instead. After all, no one wants to be the cat getting kicked, and no one should be the one doing the kicking.